Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me this evening. My commentary this evening is pertaining to the state of New York versus Robert Sylvester Kelly. As most of you know, 12 members have been seated on a jury for this said federal trial that's taking place in Brooklyn, New York. Mr. Kelly is facing charges on racketeering and other said felonious crimes. There's also been mentioning of him passing the herpes virus to 2 women, and his lawyers are trying to get that information not to be admitted into court. I want you to check out Court TV, their latest commentary pertaining to Robert Kelly. Basically, the video is, will he be prosecuted? Not prosecuted, but will he be found guilty? Because we know he's going through a prosecution at the moment, but will he be found guilty? Please check out that commentary in the queue on Court TV. One thing I noticed in the said commentary with Court TV, the experts are weighing in that he seemed nervous than he did in his previous trial in 2008, which he was exonerated. Why is he nervous? You haven't done anything. He's denying all charges in this federal trial in New York. State cases in Chicago and in Minnesota. He's denying all charges. So why would Mr. Kelly be nervous? Well, let's think about that for a minute. He's nervous because he knows there's going to be people testifying, which will be probably different than what took place in 2008. You see, now you have others coming forward to give testimony to what you did, what you said, Mr. Kelly. So therefore, you would be nervous. And naturally, you've got to have some type of evidence that he assaulted a female who was underage, a boy who was underage. What evidence would you have? So long ago. But as I state, this trial will have many facets to it, such as testimony and possibly other evidence, paper trails of things that he has done, such as bribing a court official in Chicago to make a fake ID for Leah, who is now deceased. And that transpired when she was 15. So naturally, they're going to have court documents pertaining to that. His PR person going to the court in 2019, bribing or getting another person from the courts to give up said documents pertaining to the status of his case, which is illegal, paper trail there, and God knows what else. You see, this time there's a trail. Eyewitness accounts testifying, live people testifying, paper trail, which obviously there was not this abundance of evidence in the last trial. Now, when you watch this Court TV, they said there was evidence even then. But see, he got tried in his hometown of Chicago, my home as well. And they favored him, the 12 members, the city. But he may not be so lucky here in New York. So will he be found guilty this time? It also states, besides him looking nervous in court, giving eye contact as well to the jurors, he's wearing glasses. I've also heard that he's put on weight. So one would have to say, wow, wearing glasses? So that means you've had eye trouble and didn't care to get any of that rectified when you were free because you didn't care about yourself, didn't take care of yourself. Probably didn't even go to a doctor to get wellness checks, physicals, colon check, you know, those things that men should get done, prostate, all those type of things. Too busy sleeping with everybody, getting your good times on, passing diseases back and forth. And now everybody knows all the dirty business pertaining to that, because now that's going to be allegedly introduced into this said trial. So he's had eye trouble and God knows how long. So he's wearing glasses now. Interesting. Hopefully he will take those same glasses and learn how to read it right. Because you see, that's what he should have been focused on all those many years ago. When he was out trying to become a musician, he should have gotten a GED class and learned how to read and write. Instead of hanging outside of the high schools, trying to lure young girls, and succeeded, back to his apartment. Yes, for some of you who didn't know that, he dropped out of high school for whatever reasons, and then would go back to the high schools and hang out outside the school looking for young girls to seduce, solicit young girls. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? And many people will attest to that in the Chicago area, that he did that. And now we have information of him soliciting a young boy to McDonald's, luring him back to the studio to say, hey, I can help you with a career. What are you willing to do for it? And now we have testimony from this man, he's now an adult, that he had sexual relations with R. Kelly as a child. And he also had a friend who is alleged to have slept with R. Kelly years later down the road. Also, they're alleging he videotaped them with sexual acts with other people. I don't know if it was women or men. Either way, it doesn't sound good. So now we have to ask ourselves, were these boys homosexual or gay at 17 years of age, 16 years of age? Or were they just that desperate to become famous that they would sleep with a budding musician? You see, it gets deep. And then let me think about it. If this happened in 2006, he was already famous. Are you there? Yeah, I know. The webs we weave. This is the sad information coming out of Court TV pertaining to Mr. Kelly being nervous, wearing glasses, giving eye contact to the jurors, new attorneys on board, them questioning why so late in the game, changing attorneys in June. Well, my understanding is that he had a problem with the last attorneys. The last attorneys basically had a problem with him bringing on some new ones. And they felt like they didn't know him well, didn't know the case well. So then they went in to try to relieve themselves, and or Mr. Kelly wanted them removed. So maybe they all got the button heads. Who had the bigger head? Who's the head knocker? So then maybe Mr. R. Kelly said, well, since ain't nobody getting along, I'm going to get rid of who I already had, and I'm going to hire these new guys. And I do believe these new guys happen to be African American. Because when you watch the Court TV commentary, you will see two African American men walking up to the federal building, and reporters are taking pictures or whatever, cameramen are taking pictures. So I'm assuming some of the people that he's hired are black. Naturally, he wants somebody to be on the home team that's just like him, African American. That is his choice. But are they qualified to get the job done? Because as you will read and hear in the commentary on Court TV, kind of late in the game, your trial is starting in August, which we're now in August, and you're going to do a switcheroo in June. So now these people got to get abreast on everything that's been going on with you for the past 2 years, 2.5 years. Because you got to remember, he got arrested in the winter of 2019. So now it's 2021. But that's his choice, his business. What will be said during the trial? Who will bring forth the gem that will seal R. Kelly's fate? And as I state, there is supposed to be a lot of information brought forward. Allegations of him passing herpes to women. Two women out of New York, racketeering. New charges allegedly pertaining to men who were boys at the time that he solicited for sex. Just a slew of crimes. And they have nothing to do with the 2008 trial. Let me make that clear in this said commentary. So for those of you all worked up, wondering what it's about, it's old, it's old, it's old. Yes, these are older allegations, but they are not pertaining to what transpired in the trial of 2008 in Chicago on the pornography charges. And that said video with the alleged young girl in that video. As I state, I saw that video many moons ago, 2002, whenever, 2003. That was a child in that video. You could look at the girl and see that was not a grown woman. The body looked like a girl. And some of you, I've told you all about that I had seen the video. That was a child. So this is why I told you all, if you're in possession of that video, you now have child porn. And they've told you, if you think you got that video, hand it over to law enforcement. Because you are not supposed to be watching it, holding it, harboring it, because it does have a minor child. And that has come out now too, that is a child. In the said video, the 14-year-old, that has been confirmed. But naturally, she denied it and lied about it then. And I do believe he paid her family off so she and nobody else would testify. That's how he got off. 2008. New ball game, new people, new allegations, new evidence. There's also going to be a woman to testify. She downloaded porn on her phone for Mr. Robert Kelly. Now, as I state, the problem with that's going to be proving those were underage men, boys in the said videos, because I don't know how much there is. There's a lot. I'm sure that's going to come out, and that's going to be the most interesting part of this trial. Who's going to testify? What information are they going to bring forward? Will the jury believe them? Will they favor Mr. Kelly? Or will they say, hell yeah, he did all this and then some, and hang him out to dry? Because this should be a very interesting trial. And as I state, the commentary on Court TV, which is my reference for this said commentary, says that he looked very nervous at the beginning of the week. He's wearing glasses. He does not look like the same R. Kelly, confident R. Kelly that he was back in 2008. He did make eye contact with the jurors, people in court, but he looked extremely nervous, and I believe him. I believe that commentary because he has a lot to be nervous about, because as I state, what's going on in this trial is different than the trial of 2008. You now have live people that are going to bring the alleged 411 pertaining to their dealings with Robert Sylvester Kelly. Will 12 members of a jury find R. Kelly guilty of the said crimes? What will happen in Minneapolis and Chicago? Will they also continue to follow suit no matter what happens in this trial? If he's found guilty, will they still want to try him for said crimes in their cities? State charges, this trial is federal. What will happen to the fate of Robert Sylvester Kelly, an icon, fallen? Some believe the allegations, some don't. The one thing I have a problem with are women who have been less than objective pertaining to crimes against women. I find it very strange that some of you, and men as well, think it's okay for R. Kelly to have done the things that he's done to women, and he should get a pass because it's older crimes. Well, you see, the law says a crime is a crime. It doesn't matter when it happened. Such as like with murder. Some of you may not compare what he's done to women as the extent of murder, but I'm making a reference. When someone has been murdered, the crime stays on the books, doesn't go away. Whether they have evidence, eyewitness, it stays on the books. May go cold, but it stays on the books. There's always been stipulations with rape, sodomy, kind of like the 7-year itch. After 7 years, hard to prosecute, throw it out. They don't get any evidence. No suspect. But that shouldn't be. If a woman comes in, says she's been raped, she does the rape kit, they investigate, and they can substantiate that she was assaulted, then it should stay on the books, such as attempted murder and rape, theft, fraud, larceny. It all should be the same. There should not be a stipulation with rape and sodomy. Because what you're saying to the victim is, because we don't have any evidence, no suspects, after this amount of time, what happened to you don't mean nothing. Sorry. Oh well. Continue to look over your shoulder. But we got to move on to something else. That's what you're saying to the victim. And this is the very reason why a lot of women, men too, don't report sexual assault. Because one, they fear for their safety, the person double backing to do something to them. God forbid they do come forward, the scrutiny, their name being out there in the public, people bothering them, harassing them, somebody sending them a message, which that has happened to a woman in California. He found her after she moved, and he killed her right outside her gate of her home. So you see, this is why a lot of women don't want to come forward and say they were sexually assaulted, because they fear the suspect will get a bond and come hunt them down, reassault them, and or kill them. And this is why a lot of rapists, let me say this, become murderers. Because what they say is, I'm not going to go through what I went through with this female, male. They testified against me, blah, 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 yah. Got time, got off, however it went. I'm not going to let the next victim ID me. I'll kill them. Yeah. Some of you may think, well, this doesn't have anything to do with that. It's all the same. Sexual assault is sexual assault. Sexual deviances, they're all the same. You're dealing with a sadist and a narcissist and a sociopath. It's all the same. The point I'm trying to make is, crime is crime. And the reason why a lot of women don't say anything about sexual assault, young girls, women, for the fear of being outed, the perpetrator getting a bond, getting off, not enough evidence, he said, she said, 12 members believing his side, and everyone finding out who they are, and the fear that the person would retaliate. And we've seen that R. Kelly has been accused of doing that to one of the girls that was staying with him in Chicago at the Trump Tower. Hired someone to set the girl's car on fire. So you see, he didn't move on. And I believe this is after the ladies left Trump Tower. If I'm to believe this is said, 2 ladies that were left there with him in the end. He's diabolical. He's sinister. And it's really creepy to know a person is acting this way but can't even read and write. So as I state, how has he been living all these years? Being an icon, music mogul, producer, writer, whatever he's been doing. How can you write if you can't read and write? Who's been over his estate as of now? Who did he appoint of his estate? Because that's going to matter too now, especially if he's found guilty. Who's going to be the beneficiary of his business, estate, music? Does he even have rights to his music? All that's going to come into question. So right now, who is running the R. Kelly empire? Or is there even an empire to run? And as I brought you commentary the other day, it has been stated he doesn't have any money because he can't even pay for his transcripts. Now, I don't know how much those transcripts are deemed at this time. How many thousands of dollars it's costing. But obviously the state believes he has money. So there must be a reason for them wanting him to pay for it. I guess they feel like, well, we're not going to pay for it. We're not going to let the citizens of New York pay for it. So where is his money? Does he even have any money? And if he has any money, how much is left? And as you can go back into history, about 2 years ago, Gayle King interview, he stated around that time, it was his first time even going to the bank ever for being famous. So imagine a man, 50-something years old, never had been to a bank. Ever. So once again, who had access to his money then, beforehand? Who has access to it now? R. Kelly has fallen down, way down. But he did this to himself, and that's my personal opinion. And I believe that no matter what he has done to women, men, boys, girls, whatever they can prove, hopefully they will. Whatever they can't, I believe this is his payback for some way back. He's getting all his payback for 2008 trial. Numerous allegations of having sex with young girls, which is a crime, statutory rape. And most states have that law on the books. And it doesn't matter if she says she like him, don't like him. It doesn't matter if she's a child. 13, 14, 15, 16. It's all the same. 17, you're underage. You have no business even talking to an underage kid, soliciting a kid, using someone to go pass a phone number, traveling with them. So there's trafficking. See, these are the said charges. People booking airline flights for them. And naturally, they have to have ID, because you have to have ID to fly on an airplane. Do you see how extensive these charges are? Making a fake ID for Aaliyah at the time, back in 94. She was 15. Married her, then he got annulled. Allegations that he paid the family off, that they got the rights to his music. Don't know if those allegations are true, but these are the allegations that are coming forward now. The allegations of his PR person bribing someone at the clerk's office in 2019 for said documents pertaining to his trial. So those are 2 separate incidents of bribery court officials. 94 for a fake ID for Aaliyah, 2019 documents pertaining to his trial. He's been a busy bee, and he has used people, and they have foolishly worked for him, underhandedly doing underhanded, devious things on his behalf for the almighty dollar. And in the end, it's a wrap now. And you just better hope your name don't come up in anything in this trial, because I won't doubt that other names will probably come forward. And these people who are testifying will probably give names. You did all this for what? Just to say, oh, I'm cool with R. Kelly. Yeah, you're cool with a man that can't even read or write. But yet he's a sexual deviant who likes the taste of young boys and girls, men and women. Salacious sexual activity, which is just his choice, what he likes to do behind closed doors. But nonetheless, when you're involving kids, it's a whole different ballgame. Abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, God knows what else. kidnapping, locking people in rooms, not letting them out to eat, use the bathroom, use the phone. This is the guy that you all worship because you see you don't know people. And also comparing him to Weinstein, Cosby, Epstein. What does that have to do with the bigger picture? These are all different men, different walks of life, different color, different sizes. What this one did doesn't have anything to do with this one. Similar crimes, but still they are all different men. And they each have to stand account for what they did. And one's deceased now. See, it doesn't matter that Pookie Ray Ray did this over here and he didn't stand account for his crimes. And then you want to compare it to R. Kelly. Like, why are you doing this to him? This one did this over here. This white man did this over here. What does it have to do with what this guy did? That's not the way it goes. A lot of people commit crimes every day. Some get caught, some don't. Some get caught, some don't. But it shouldn't matter about race, what the white man did. Well, white man got away with these type of crimes. Y'all let them get away with it. Y'all? Who's y'all? You can't make somebody get arrested for a crime. The victim has to be the one to bring forth the charge. The allegation, rather. And then it's up to the detectives to follow suit if there is proof of a crime. So it doesn't matter that people knew that these guys were deviant. The victim has to be the one to bring forth the allegation. And obviously all these men had whispers about them. In their entourage, the entertainment business, and the people that knew them. And that's the sad part. And the worst part is that some of you are still rallying for these type of men because the charges and allegations are older. And you're basically saying, some of you women as well, they should get a pass because it's older. The women waited too late to come forward. Maybe so. But it doesn't mean the crime didn't take place. And just like with attempted murder, fraud, theft, just because it happened 5 years ago doesn't mean it didn't happen. And it doesn't mean law officials are supposed to just throw it in a box and throw it on the shelf and say, the hell with it because it's old. We don't have witnesses. We don't have proof. We don't have a suspect. We don't have an eyewitness. All right, we're done with it. We can't live like that. Because if we're going to have that attitude, then we don't need detectives. We don't need the FBI, state police. We don't need the state office, state's attorney's office. We won't need it. We'll just be out on our own, defending ourselves against vultures, if we're going to have that attitude. Because my thing is, if it was your daughter, and you heard that an older man was sleeping with her, soliciting her, you would blow your lid. So why must you think it's okay for Robert to get a pass because the allegations are older and the women, girls, whomever, boys, men, didn't come forward? Crime's a crime. And it's sad that you all have to be able to be in those shoes or somebody close to you for you to have empathy, which shows me that a lot of you are just as sick as Robert Sylvester Kelly. Women and men. And I'm seeing that now with these cases that I talk about on my channel. That a lot of you are just as sick as the people that we're discussing. Because you're willing to ride or die with somebody you don't even know. Just because you like their music. Or you like the team they play on. Or they're a good actor. Whatever. But you don't know them. And they don't know you. And I can tell you, if we're to believe the allegations against these men, and some women too, the way they treat people, they would treat you the same damn way. Your hero will treat you the same damn way. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Any donation is acceptable. Thank you so much for your support, new subscribers. This is the said information. Will Robert Sylvester Kelly be found guilty on all said charges? What will Minnesota, Chicago bring forth after this trial is over? Will they also press forward, continue to press forward, no matter the verdict in this case? And how does Robert Kelly feel now? He's nervous. He has a reason to be nervous. Because he's got birdies now to bring forth the information against him. Thank you all for joining me. Have a safe weekend. God bless you. If you see something, say something. Mind the children. Prayers for Chadwick Carr, 32, missing out of East Tennessee, Clinton, Tennessee, from the foundation. Mindy Lowe is the proprietor. She must stand account for what happened to Chadwick Carr. Tashina Kyle, 27, missing out of Knoxville. Prayers for her. Safe return. Summer Wells. Prayers for Summer Wells. Cal City Boys. Prayers for them as well. If you see something, say something. Let's not be a nation afraid to tell the truth. Life is too short to not say something. All tips can be done anonymously, but say something. And if you have been abused physically, emotionally, sexually, please go to your local authorities and tell the truth. Free yourself. Don't live in bondage. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing the public a disservice, because we need to know what's going on out here and who to look out for, because we don't want these vultures walking our streets and taking advantage of us as people and our children. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.